So we're going to take a look at park factors in this module's technical track. Here's the formula for park factors. PF equals 100 times a ratio of runs scored at home versus runs scored on the road. There are other more advanced park factors. We won't cover them. Research into Patriots' work and what Fangraphs does in their park factors will lead you to that. But this is the most commonly used one and a fairly straightforward one that we're going to implement with some R code to run this park factor. Anything over 100 is a hitter-friendly park factor, a better environment for run scoring. Anything below 100 is more of a pitcher-friendly park. 100 is neutral. That's a park that is not friendly either to pitchers or to hitters. One thing you need to do is increase your sample size to have these measurements become more reliable. So very quickly, what we're going to do is just identify what we need in the formula. So in the formula here, we've got at the top part here, this section here is all about run scoring at home. It's the runs scored by the home team, the runs allowed by the home team in their home park, divided by the number of games played at the home park. And that's in a ratio to the same team's runs scored on the road versus all the opponents in each of those games allowed while they're on the road, divided by the number of road games. So this is a ratio of run scoring in their home park versus run scoring when they're on the road. And it's multiplied by 100 so that 100 is neutral. This formula and this formula are the same, so this ratio becomes 1, meaning the park factor is 100. So that's an explanation of the formula. Now let's move on to the SQL Sandbox and do a query that's going to help us learn this a little better and learn some new R code. So we're in the RetroSheet database looking at games logs in the games table inside the database, and we're going to run this query. Let's scroll down and see the whole query. We're going to select visitor at-bats, home at-bats, visitor home runs, home runs, home and visitor, because we're going to do home run park factors, not the runs park factors we talked about before. For any batting statistic that you accumulate for a team, you can run park factors. You can get a park factor for doubles, a park factor for strikeouts, a park factor for home runs, triples, and lots of other measures of baseball performance with the formula we just described. We're going to go and do home runs for Fenway Park in the years 2009 to 2013, a 5-year park factor measure. So we're going to get data from 2009 on, and we're going to put into our results table the Boston games, both home and on the road, and the Indians games, both home and on the road. This is our query. Now let's run it and see what we get. Okay, 1,578 rows. It's not 1,620, which is what you might expect over 5 years for those two teams, because the Indians and the Red Sox play each other. So we're going to download this result and upload it into our studio and start manipulating these data to calculate park factors. So now in our studio, let's run this script, the R script we're calling park factors. First thing we need to do is get the results table from the SQL Sandbox. And in my case, that's this file here, RetroSheet_Sandbox number 13. That adds our observations, 1,578 observations of 6 variables. Let's look at that. We've got Cleveland and Boston in various forms over those many years of data. So let's continue on the script and describe what's going on. The first thing is a clever trick to do a count if. And this is the data frame, Sox home run. One of the data fields is home. Let me go back to and show you what home is. Again, home is just a list of the code that says the team name who is home. So this is going to try to measure the number of home games in our results table by Boston, by the Red Sox. What that's going to yield here, when you do equal equal, it's going to yield a true-false matrix. It's going to test every row to see if the home field has the text BOS. So this is going to result, this little section of our code is going to result in a huge true-false vector, whether or not it appears there. And then we're just going to use the sum function to add up how many times this occurs. And then what happens when you do it on a true-false vector is it just counts the number of trues. So this is a little trick to count the number of times BOS appears in our results table. We've got 1,578 observations. These are games over the years 2009 through 2013 for the Indians and the Red Sox. So let's see. Let's run this code and see how many we get. 405. It's 81 games times 5 years. And I could quickly run this here. I'll just do it from this section of our studio and put in Cleveland. We should get a similar result. 405. Good. So I ran it here just in the interpreter in the console. Now we want to create two new subsets of the bigger data frame with running these two commands. Get a park data frame that's a subset of just home games by the Red Sox. Get an away data frame when they're just a visitor. And let's run that. We should get two new data frames here with 405 observations. Very good. This is another way to count the number of times it occurs. This is counting the number of rows in the park database. We already know that over here we have 405 observations and no number of rows. But this is if you do a subset first with this kind of command, doing a conditional test here. You can do a conditional test in a subset command on a data frame. Make a new smaller data frame. Take the number of rows of that, and you'll get the count if. Another way to do a count if, taking a subset of a data frame. Let's run that code real quick. Should be 405. Beautiful. It worked.